Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith. Welcome to the Grow Tent, everybody. You have found the best cannabis growing channel on YouTube, man. The place where we simplify the approach for you so everyone can learn how to grow. We make it so simple, even I can understand. So I'm going to listen and learn right now.
Woo! What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Grow Tent. We got a great episode for you today. Today we're going to be giving out GT's exact formula for how I make big giant colas every time. So we're going to be going over, get a pen and paper ready, because I'm going to give you step by step every single thing that I do. Not my beginner's lessons that I get you to try to not burn your plants up, but I'm going to give you my exact formula that I use. If you have healthy plants, this will work for you every single time that I grow, and it's always had fantastic results. So today, that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to give out my exact step-by-step process of what I do. All right, but first, as always, guys, it's the intro. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, watch the full video, all that kind of stuff. It all helps. The second thing, I want to say a huge thank you to all the people that joined up to my new membership website. Ever since Patreon closed, we hadn't had our memberships up, and I just opened up my new site. It's at WTTGT.com. That's WTTGT.com. Oh, okay, one last thing I forgot. Guys, if you have signed up to the new website, my web designer, my web guy, is actually in the hospital with pneumonia right now. So the website has not been able to kick out your personal invites. If you have paid for your VIP program and you haven't got the invite email, send me an email at right here to thegrowtent@gmail.com, and I will personally send you the invite to get you into the website. So if you hadn't joined up yet, or if you have joined up and paid and you haven't got the invite in, just send me an email. Now, don't try and trick it, because it won't let you in if you haven't signed up. Don't be like, oh yeah, GT, I need the invite. I'm going to go in and check before I send you the invite. But if you have joined and you haven't got your email yet, and it's been over 24 hours, send me an email and I will personally send you the invite to come into our super awesome club. And remember, you don't want to miss out. We got drops coming up immediately. If you're looking to get your Patreon-esque membership back, you can do it right there. The memberships are back open, and it is I would say, a great time to join. We have a retro drop that is happening next week, and then in the next 3 weeks, my brand new merch line will be out, and it will only be available to the membership tiers like usual. We usually do one a year where it's open to the public. We just did that the last drop with Blueberry Spacewalk merch line, and this one will be members only, just like it usually always is. We've got 3 badass new designs. This is one of our ones from the last drop, all designed by me, of course. But check it out. It's memberships you don't want to miss out. We got Rainbow Sherbet coming up next, so you don't want to miss out on all the awesome benefits in the membership tier. Okay, all right, intro over. Hey, that's simple. All right, we got to turn our head around backwards, like we're in. No, I'm not feeling the head around backwards today. Like we're in over the top. Turn the head around backwards. All right, guys. So GT's exact formula for giant, massive colas. I'm going to put a caveat on the front of this. If your plants are sick or they're small, don't run this. This is for if you've got a few grows under your belt. It's working fantastically. You're growing out great every time. Okay, that's fine. If your plants are stick-like or don't have a great canopy or they're small and you've heard them a bunch of times, don't run this. All right, don't run this. You're gonna do nothing but hurt them. The first things first. There's gonna be there's 3 parts to this, to getting massive colas. 1 is your watering schedule. 2 is your light schedule. I could spend 20 minutes talking about watering and lights alone. Instead, I'm gonna put this link for the watering up right there. Please remember to put that up, GT. Please remember to put that up. So there's your perfect watering schedule for can of plants. Right there. Or I probably already put it up, so probably not still point there. But and then the other part is how to get max yield with when to turn your lights up for max yield. You can find that right there. I think those are both like 15 to 20 minute videos. So instead of going over lights and watering, the 3 parts to getting massive, 2 of the 3 parts of getting massive colas, we're just going to put the links up there. If you need a refresher on them, you can go watch it. If you're like, GT, I got watering down. GT, I got the lights down. let's get to your exact formula that you've been using to grow these plants. All right, that's what we're gonna do. All right. First things first, my media that I start in, it is always Fox Farms Ocean Forest. Whenever I go and buy this, I don't just buy one bag. This is the steps that I take that usually always ensures I have a great harvest. You don't have to do this. I'm telling you what I do. This is what I do every single time I get the flower, and it always has fantastic results. So the first thing I do is I go buy 3 bags of Ocean Forest. The reason I do this is because a lot of times you can get bags of Ocean Forest, strawberry fields, whatever you're buying. These are already preloaded medias that have that have amendments already in them. That's why they're more expensive. The thing is that they're not all made the same strength. So you can get one bag and it's 1700 ppm right out of the bag. You can get another bag that's 4000 ppm right out of the bag. You can get another bag that's 2500. Well, by buying 3 bags and then I mix them all together, I put them in one giant tub and I mix the soils together and I stir them all up. That way, if I had a 1700 ppm bag and a 4000 ppm bag, I mix them all together and it averages them out. It's the way I've always done it, and it's always worked really, really, really well. So what I'm looking for out of my Fox Farms is I want them to be around the 2700-ish, 3200-ish ppm mark right off the bat. That's where I want my plants to start life with when I'm going into flower. So by starting them there, I've always had extremely good luck. Now, can they be a little bit higher? Yes. Can it be a little bit lower? Yes. I just like them to be around the 27 to 3200 ppm mark right off the bat whenever I'm going into flower. Is it a necessity? No, especially with the feeding schedule we're going to go over here, but that's just where I personally like it to be. And generally, if you do that 3 bag trick, it usually will end up right around at least the 2700 ppm mark. Okay, so that's our media. The next thing we're going to go, I wrote this all down so I didn't skip any steps. The next step is, what are you doing for your exact GT? What are you exactly feeding them? So we're going to go into the NPK next, which is your nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. I am going to start, this is where you're going to need your pen because you're going to have to write this out. So the first 2 weeks, they get nothing because that's what we were just talking about, the ppms that are already in the food. Starting of week 3 is when I am generally going to start feeding my plants because my plants are usually big, so they will actually start going through the nutrients they need in the soil rather fast because they're generally big plants. They make big colas, which means they go through more food. Whenever I do this, I'm going to start feeding them at the beginning of week 3 because one of the most important things you can do whenever you're growing flowers is make sure you don't run out of anything. If you run out of anything whenever you're growing these plants, you're immediately stunting them and you're costing yourself size. Now, don't read into that. Just give them a fuck ton of everything. That is not what I said at all. That's not what I said. What I said is, don't run out of anything. So don't go, oh, I waited all the way till week 4, week 5. At the end of week 4, I'm not, they're starting to develop spots. Yeah, well, you can't just rely solely on the soil because while it may say 4,000 ppm, we don't know what that 4,000 ppm is made of. Get it? Okay, off that little soapbox. So whenever I go into starting to feed them at week 3, I'm going to give them almost like a transitional week nutrient dose, which is even parts of all 3 of 5 milliliters per gallon of nitrogen, 5 milliliters per gallon of 5 milliliters per gallon of the grow, 5 milliliters per gallon of the micro, and then I'm going to give them 8 milliliters per gallon of the bloom, just to kick it up just a touch, because that's not a concentrated version, it's just straight 8 milliliters, because we're getting ready to go into flower. All right, so that is what I'm going to give for my week 2 feeding. All right, now I'm not going to feed them again until week 5. In week 5, they are going to get a 0 milliliters per gallon of the green bottle, the grow, because we're past the part where they're going to need any more of that, so we're going to zero that out. Then they're going to get 8 milliliters per gallon of the micro, and they're going to get 8 milliliters per gallon of the bloom. I'm giving you guys exactly what I do. If you're new, don't run this. Or if you're not new and your plants are still sick, don't run this. And then that's going to be my formula, the 0, 8, and 8. That's actually going to be my formula for week 4 or week 5 through week 6. So if I'm feeding in week 5, that's what I'm giving. Feeding in week 6, that's what I'm giving. And I'm always done feeding in week 6 as far as the NPK. So that is exactly what I do with my newts. Every single time, the plants always love it. That's exactly what I give them each time we're going through flower. The next thing we're going to talk about is your CalMag. I don't care what brand you use. I don't care if it's Cali Magic. I don't care if it's CalMag Plus. I don't care. It's it's all the same stuff. I am going to give them CalMag. We don't need to talk about veg because this is a video just about flower. So whenever I get them into flower, I am giving them 5 to 8 milliliters per gallon every time I water. Every single time I water, I am giving them 5 to 8 milliliters per gallon. And we say, well, how do I know if I give them 5 milliliters or I give them 8 milliliters? And your plant is actually going to tell you by the leaf stems. They're either purple or they're green. If they are purple top and bottom, you are going to give them on the higher side, which is 8. If your leaf stems are purple on the top and green on the bottom, or green all the way around, you're going to go to the lower end. You're only going to give them 5 milliliters per gallon. But if they're purple on top and purple on the underneath, you're going to go to the higher side and give them 8 milliliters per gallon. And you're going to do that every single watering from the beginning of flower through the end of week 3 flower. And that's all there is to CalMag in flower. You're to start at week 1 through the end of week 3, and then you are done. You can take your CalMag bottle and you can put it up on a different shelf because you don't need it the rest of the grow. Well, GT, if you're done with your supplement at the end of the 3 weeks, what do you use? Oh, I'm glad you asked, brother, because I got the answer for you. This is where you switch over to your Mag Sulfur product. This can be your Botanicare Sweet, it could be your Bud Candy, it could be your Flora Nectar, any one of those. I don't care what brands you use. Once again, all the same stuff. You are going to give them 5 to 8 milliliters per gallon from the start of week 4 through the end of week 7 every single time you water. Every single time you water, based on the watering schedule you looked up earlier, every time you water, you are going to give them from the start of week 4 through the end of week 7, you will give them Botanicare Sweet or Blood Candy, whatever your Mag Sulfur product is. You will give that to them every single time you water, 5 to 8 milliliters per gallon. And I basically use this as like a time kind of table deal. I don't look, I'm not looking for anything with the plant whenever I'm doing this. At the start of week 4, I'm at 5 milliliters per gallon. By the time I hit week 7, I'm at 8 milliliters per gallon, and you can kind of fill that in however you want based off the size of your plant. And if it's doing good, great, leave it there. If you need it to bump up a little bit, the sulfur in it makes them swell with more water. All right, next thing, diatomaceous earth. I do that one time whenever I'm in flower because you're not transplanting anymore, so they still get it whenever you went into flower, you transplanted, you should have at least. But if you didn't, at the start of the week, they get it one time per month. I grab a handful just like this, I spread it all around the top, and I mix it in the top to the top 2 inches of topsoil. Now this has 2 main benefits. The first is it'll kill any kind of creepy crawly stuff. It's like adding razor wire into your soil. And then people say, well, if it gets wet, it doesn't work. Yeah, it dries out. It's hydrophobic. It's extremely water. It pushes the water right off of it because it's basically like fossil dust is what it is, and it's like adding razor wire, so it kills any kind of creepy crawly thing. Think fungus gnat larvae. Did you guys know when fungus gnat are larvae, they're maggots? So if you have a lot of fungus gnats, you literally have maggots crawling around in your soil, and if you look really close and dig the dirt around, you'll find them. And as soon as you put diatomaceous earth in there, it actually kills all those things because they're little slimy bodies. It kills them in 2 different ways. One, it's like razor wire, super sharp. They glide past it and slices them all up. And then 2, when it attaches to them, it's actually it dehydrates them. So you can kill them one of 2 ways. And if you're not watering all the freaking time, like you shouldn't be, the soil dries out, it becomes active again, and it starts working. Let's see, what else? What is next? And the second main benefit to adding diatomaceous earth into your soil is it's mainly silica based. So you're already adding something like, it saves you from buying something like Armor SI. It's one less thing that you have to buy, saving you money because you're already putting the diatomaceous earth in there as your IPL. And now you don't have to buy a silica product either because it's already putting the silica in it, and every time you water, it's going to be transferring it through the rest of the soil. So it has a couple of benefits there. Next thing we're going to talk about is mycorrhiza. Do you need it? You don't have to have it, but I'll tell you right now, it is a giant help, and it will increase your yields by having it in a few different ways. I don't care, once again, I don't care what brand you use. I don't care if you use Great White. I don't care if you use Orca. I don't care if you use Recharge. I don't care whatever brand of mycorrhiza you want. You do have to make some changes to a little bit of a later part here, and that's if you use Great White, great. If you use Recharge, Recharge already has blackstrap molasses in it, which is actually the next and the last thing, or the second to last thing we're going to talk about, because then we still got to talk about PK Booster. When you're using Great White, you still have to have blackstrap molasses. Recharge already has blackstrap molasses in it, so you would actually get to skip that next step. So it's one of those things where you get to buy one product and it takes the place of two. We're running Recharge right now in our grows and works just great. I actually really like it. It turns the water like all black, so it looks like you're pouring oil into your plant. I don't know. I'm weird, okay? I just think it looks cool, like pouring this like black oil-looking substance into the plant and the plant like liking it. I'm weird, okay? I'm weird. I like these plants. I like messing with them, and it's cool when you're pouring black liquid into them. I don't know. I'm weird, I guess. Mycorrhiza is every 2 weeks from the start of your plant's life through week 6. Week 6 will be the last time you give it. Every other week, you will give them either Great White, Recharge, Orca. I don't care, whatever it is. They get it every other week. You can't give them too much of it. God, I say that, but if you give them too much Recharge, it is a bad thing because it has a bunch of other stuff in it. Great White, this stuff's really expensive. Just every 2 weeks, guys. You don't need to give them a ton. Just every 2 weeks is fine, okay? But if you do use Recharge, you can skip the blackstrap molasses. If you're using something like Great White, then you can't skip the blackstrap molasses, unsulfured blackstrap molasses. With blackstrap molasses, I give it one time every 4 weeks, just like I would the Diatomaceous earth. I just do 5 milliliters of it per gallon. I will say, when you do the blackstrap molasses, pour it in, because it's super thick. I mean, it's like pouring peanut butter, maybe melted peanut butter, but it's very, very thick, and it takes a while to dissolve. So if it's going to be your blackstrap molasses feeding, I actually make my water the day before. You should be making water the day before anyway, especially if you're using tap water, because you need to let the chlorine dissipate off the top, and then hopefully your water company's not using chlorinate, because then you have to actually use some tabs to get rid of that. But I'll make my water the day before, and I'll add my blackstrap molasses in that day before while it's sitting out. And it's like every 2 or 3 times a day, I'll go down there and stir it just so it dissolves up in there and it's not all gooped. Just because when you put it in, it's like blob, and it's just like blobs floating around of it. So I'll actually just put it in there the day before, stir, let's go down and stir it up every once in a while, and then usually by that next day, it's all just kind of mixed in through the water really, really, really well. The last thing I'm going to talk about is my methodology for using PK boosters and how I use them, when I use them. And if you are a new person, turn this video off right now. All right, you've been warned. If you are new or your plants are not sick, do not use PK boosters. They are not worth it. If you get the maximum amount you can of a PK booster, you're looking at about a 5 to 7% increase in yield. And if you are a cultivation facility and you have hundreds of plants, 5 to 7% is gigantic. You're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you are in a 2x2 looking to get 4 ounces out of it, what's 5% of 4 ounces? It's not jack shit, okay? Now, if you got a 10x10, it can make a little bit of a difference, but if you're in a 2x2, 2x4, it's really, you don't have to do this much. I am going to give you my exact formula that I use for PK boosters, and if your plants are sick, this is going to kill them, okay? It's going to kill them. If your plants are not super healthy, like mine, you guys have all seen my plants, they look great every single time. But if your plants are sick, this is going to kill your plants. That's why I told the new people to shut it off, okay? If I'm doing runs in a small area, like a 2x4, like a 3x3, or I'm just doing a short run with smaller plants, I am at 1 milliliter per gallon on week 3 and week 4. That is it. So if I'm making up 5 gallons of water, I'm putting in 5 milliliters. If I'm in my bigger tents, I'm at 2.5 milliliters per gallon. You guys have seen my bigger plants. They're big, okay? They got big colas. Do not run the 2.5 if you have smaller plants, sicker plants, because it's going to kill them. If you put 5 gallons of water, and then you mix up 2.5 milliliters per gallon, you're going to hurt shit. Okay? But if your plants are healthy, it does work. But please, if you're new, don't run that. Don't run any of this. Stick to the smaller doses. Cut all those doses in half. Except for stuff like the CalMag, malic sulfur, you'll be able to find those doses. But as far as the other, we're not talking about that. Today is what I'm doing, not what I'm telling you to do. Except for the Cool Bloom. I'm not kidding. You'll burn your entire garden up. All right? So just be careful with it. Maybe just start at 1 milliliter per gallon, even if you got bigger plants. All right? But this is what I do every single time. And then I use my scrog net. I put it up at the day 1 of flower, and I use it to keep the canopy level. I tuck the plants week 1 through week 3 flower, then I leave them alone. All right? I hope this helps all of you out. If you've been looking to try to take that next jump up, this is you now have GT's exact formula. I do this every single time, the exact same way. You all have seen the gardens. They look identical. I don't care what strain I'm growing. They're giant colas. They're in every trellis hole. There's nothing. That's exactly it. That is my exact formula. I actually wrote it all down for you. That's my exact formula every single time that I go into flower, and I always have amazing results with it. I hope it helps you out in your gardens. If you have any questions, you can always message me at tothegrowtent@gmail.com. See you guys. GT out.